Hello, this is Mark Hilliard from Beyond 20. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about grids and how and where they can be used and how to create new ones and where to use different grids. Now we all know about the default grid. The default grid must exist for each type of object that you create within Cherwell, and you have to provide at least one field in that grid, and that's what shows up when you do a search for the object, or by default it shows up for search results lists on in tab form arrangements as well as on dashboards. But it doesn't have to be this way. If you have specific types of grids that you want to show, or perhaps you have different teams that need different data from the same type of record, you can create as many grids as you need and display them wherever you want. Now the default grid will always be the grid that shows up for search results. Whenever you search an object, the grid that comes back will always be the default grid. You can't change that. However, for things like the form arrangement and for dashboards, you can choose which grid shows up. So for instance, if I wanted to create a new grid for incident, as I'm here on the grid editor for incident right now, I simply go up to the grid menu and click New Grid. I can give it a name. Special Grid. And now I have an entirely new set of grid options that I can set up for this grid. I can say, well, in this grid, I want to have the call source, and I want to make sure I get the category, and I want to make sure I have the incident ID, and that's going to be first, and I want to make sure that I know when it was created, and maybe I want to know whether or not it was a major incident. I can just add whatever I want on here, and I also have the whole set of options and properties that I can change for this special grid. Once I've created it and I publish this, then I can go to dashboards, form arrangements, anything else, and say this is the grid I want to show for incident when you're looking at it on that dashboard or when you're looking at it on that form arrangement. Let's say, for instance, I want this to show up for linked incidents when I'm dealing with a major incident. I can simply go to my form arrangement for incident, and I come and I find my linked incidents tab, pull up its properties, go to tab contents, and you can see here now I have the ability to change what grid shows up, and I can now add my special grid instead of the default or the basic info or whatever other grids I may have. You can do the same thing when you're bringing up a grid on a dashboard. If you want a search results grid to show up with different data in it than your default grid, simply create that new grid and make that the default when you're building the dashboard. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and as always, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us at our website, www.beyond20.com, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Beyond 20 LLC. Thank you.